Hello everyone. So many of us are desperate to be traveling normally again, and the airlines are just as desperate for that to be happening too. But how can this be done safely and efficiently without raising the spread of the COVID infection and compromising the public health measures that are being imposed in different countries? Well, increasingly there are calls for so-called travel passports. And this seems to be causing some confusion, because do we mean by that a system for incorporating travelers' COVID status into existing national passports, or is it a completely separate system that's being proposed? And what about those who feel that this could be an intrusion into privacy or discriminate against those who can't or will not have the COVID vaccine? Well, to talk this through, I'm joined by my colleague Kathy Buck, who follows this air transport industry very closely. Kathy, the International Air Transport Association, which represents just about all of the world's airlines, has been pressing for what it calls a travel pass, and it's investing in technology to support that plan. So tell us what's happening on that score.
Yeah, so Charlie, the association is due to release its so-called travel pass this month. A select group of airlines, some very large ones, some smaller ones, has been trialing this travel pass for a while now, and a formal launch is expected in the coming weeks. So what is it? Well, the travel pass is a mobile application that helps travelers to store and manage their certifications for COVID-19 tests or COVID-19 vaccines. As you know, due to the pandemic, governments across the world have imposed various new restrictions on people entering their country. And quite frankly, it has become very difficult to know who requires what. Now, IATA has all this information and it's updated all the time. Now it is bundling in one and the same app this information with the documents that a traveler needs to fulfill the COVID-19 entry requirements, and it is linking to certificates with authorities and airlines. So in short, the IATA Travel Pass is a digital tool, a digital password, so to speak, bundling passengers, COVID-19 health requirements and certificates.
Sure, but we casually use this word passport. Strictly speaking, it's not really a passport in the sense of a national passport that now has a chip with our immigration status. Is this really a travel pass, really?
Well, there is confusion. The IATA Travel Pass is not a travel passport, which is issued by governments, and it's totally related to this IATA initiative. One is an official document, the little booklet in different colors issued by government. The other one, the one from IATA is a private initiative, so unrelated. Now, the IATA app will enable passengers to create a digital version of their passports on the phone. Vice versa is not possible. So, you cannot add anything to your passport. That's up to the government. Mm-hmm. Now, there's also some confusion, and I think these days we really have to elaborate our vocabulary. The IATA Travel Pass is also not a vaccine pass or a vaccine passport allowing free access to countries. It's still the country who decides which kind of requirements they are. Now, this could be being vaccinated, could be not vaccinated for COVID. And lately, at least here in Europe, there is a lot of buzz around this so-called vaccine passport, a documentation proving that you have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Some countries, organizations, trade bodies are favorable to the concept because it will allow people to travel or attend large events safely.
Right. And of course, you hinted at some of that controversy, because I think some people, when they hear about this, they think, so this is something that is going to decide effectively that some people who are not vaccinated simply can't travel. But I don't think it's quite as simple as that, is it?
No. And as you can imagine, the idea is controversial. There's quickly the impression that it could be discriminate. For example, Charlie, you are vaccinated, I am not vaccinated. This means you can travel, I'm not allowed to travel. You can go to a restaurant, I cannot go to a restaurant. No, the reasons for not being vaccinated can be multiple. For example, I come later in the queue because I'm not, but a lot younger than you are, because the country I live in has no access to vaccines, or because of religious or health reasons. Yeah, so it is a controversial idea that it would give you free access to to whatever. That's why they're very, very careful about it. Now, Charlie, countries with large tourism sectors tend to be supportive of the vaccine pass concept. And here in Europe, like, for example, Italy, Cyprus, Portugal, Spain, and Greece. Now, the Greek authorities have several times really stressed that this does not mean that travelers who have not yet received their COVID jabs are not allowed to vacation in the country. They will be allowed in, but they will be required to show proof of a negative COVID test. So conversely, I just read that in the UK, people traveling to England still will need to show evidence of a negative COVID test and self-isolate for 10 days, even if they have been vaccinated.
Yeah, no, that's very clear. And it's good that you point out there that it's the governments who will set the policy on the travel. Yeah. It's not that IATA with its new pass is trying to control everything.
No.
But even, let's assume for a moment that this is an acceptable idea. How do we think that the authorities and the airlines can actually manage this vital flow of information that would support this requirement? Is technology going to unlock this for them?
Well, technology is very important here, I think, for all parties involved. So, but let's not to make it too complex. Let's just consider the traveler's point of view and take an easy example. I'm based in Brussels and I want to visit you in England. I need a document issued by the Belgian government stating my reason for leaving my country and crossing the Belgian borders. I need a negative COVID test for the UK authorities. I need proof for the UK authorities that I have booked a further 2 COVID tests once in the country, and I need a passenger locator form. Then, to return to Belgium, I need again a document stating my reasons for traveling. I think one in the UK and one in Belgium. I need a negative COVID test to enter my country. I need a passenger locator form. That is at least 7, 8 different documents, not including my ticket, boarding pass, and passport for a hop across the channel. It is a lot easier, smarter to bundle all this in one digital solution on your phone than running the risk you might misplace one paper document. And it's contactless, so not an immigration officer, checking in agents, they don't have to touch your paper, so it's contactless and thus COVID proof.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, now you're saying that, it in a way reminds me of the system they have in the US, the World Traveler app, where you can choose to have that, and it's not that it determines whether or not you're allowed into the US. It just affects whether you wait in a long line to physically speak to an officer or you get waved through quickly. It's essentially optional.
It's kind of a little bit of a more seamless travel, which travel has become more complicated with so much COVID requirements. So it makes the travel process a little bit more seamless. That's what it comes down to.
True, but so we resolved the controversy about, is this a tool to decide who travels and who doesn't travel? The other controversial aspect of this that I've heard people worrying about is privacy. They say, here we go. This is another digital tool for the government to invade our privacy. I mean, is privacy a valid concern here with this travel pass?
Yeah, I think so. And of course, the digital component comes with new concerns around privacy and data sharing. No, IATA insists its travel pass ensures the integrity of personal data. Travelers always remain in control of their data with their privacy protected. It does not store any data centrally. So it simply links entities that need verification, airlines and governments, with a test or vaccination data, but only, and this is key, if the passenger chooses to do so.
Yeah, good point. So there is free choice here. So we've talked a lot about the International Air Travel Association and its travel pass, but is it the only initiative like this? And is this effectively in competition with other solutions? I mean, is this some sort of moneymaker for IATA? And if so, are there other alternatives?
Well, airlines and passengers should have choice, I think, always. No, IATA is only one of several organizations that have been working on a digital solution to streamline the COVID-19 credentialing process. IBM, I know of, has been developing its own digital health pass that would enable individuals to present proof of vaccination or a negative test to gain access to a public location, such as a sports stadium, university or workplace, an airplane. Now, I also know of the World Economic Forum, and the Commons Project Foundation, which is a Swiss non-profit group. They also have been testing a digital health passport called Common Pass. There are other initiatives. Ryanair, for example, just launched its own initiative, a COVID-19 travel wallet, where customers can upload their own negative PCR test, their COVID vaccination certifications, and other COVID documents that may be required. Now, the C19 wallet is available only in the Ryanair app, in contrast to the IATA Travel Pass, which is available to all airlines willing to use it and pay for it.
Of course. So it's going to be offered as a tool for the airlines. So what do we think is going to happen next? I mean, you and I are both airline passengers, airline customers. How are we really going to interact with this and know what we're supposed to do?
Well, I think it comes, I'm not so sure if we're going to go and know which kind of app it is. I think the airline will offer it and saying, please now upload, when you make a booking, like you can choose a chair, you can, order your meal. They can say, please upload your COVID-19 documents now. So if it's IBM, if it's IATA, I don't think passengers are going to know which one it is. I don't think it will be branded as IBM. It will not be branded as IATA. That's my opinion.
I guess IATA's motivation for doing this is because they're just as desperate as all their members to get things moving. So this is just their effort to try and unlock this problem. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, that's it. They're hoping with the rollout of the travel pass, the C19 wallet or vaccine pass, whatever the name or concept, we'll see the return of holiday travel this summer. But return of demand will depend on how the virus evolves, how government-imposed restrictions are eased or not eased, how successful the vaccination programs are, and how many countries are willing to accept another country's vaccine credentials. Now, Israel and Greece made a bilateral agreement. The EU is trying, I emphasize the word trying, to agree on a common standardized EU COVID-19 health pass. But if the EU doesn't manage to come to one standardized solution, I don't know how well it bodes to come to a global, agreement.
Exactly. I mean, this is one of the things that COVID has revealed, just how fragmented the public health systems are, really.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think one thing is certain. People want to get back to travel, and IATA's latest survey shows that 57% of people expect to travel within a few months of the pandemic being under control.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So almost 6 out of 10 people are basically saying, we're ready to go. For heaven's sake, tell us when that's okay.
Exactly.
And that's what we're waiting for. Well, I know that both you and I are in that 6 out of 10 group who are ready to travel again. So we'll keep an eye out for these tools and see how much easier that might make it. But thank you, Kathy. You've really shed a lot of light on this. It wasn't straightforward, and you've made it far easier to understand. So
I hope
thank you so much.
It's all complicated. Thank you very much, Charlie. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching this AIN video. Please like, subscribe, and share it if you've enjoyed it. Also, visit AINonline.com for all the latest on the aviation industry.